So to begin with, Farida, I wanted to bring in how the photograph as a moving image is an element that has been recurrent in your practice. Could you speak about where the image took its place of prominence in your work over other mediums?
Yes, I mean, I think photography is something which comes very naturally to me because since I was in school, so I was taught with that old black and white Polaroid, not Polaroid, but the other camera, which you see like hold it in your hands, and the image is inverted, and so I mean, practicing from that time, it created some kind of romance of how to develop that image, and I learned some black and white developing of the films, how to do that at home. I'd developed a little studio, although I was not taught photography in college. In my undergraduate, it was painting and drawing, which I did, and I'm so glad that I did that. But photography came as a side uh, hobby in college, and with other students and other fellows, so discussing different techniques. So I think it never left me, that romance of clicking. So that clicking and framing something which you are seeing, but looking through that frame, it was theoretically, I would say it was just like, you are framing a context of what you're seeing. So that frame, whether it's a mobile phone's frame. So I don't use professional cameras anymore. Most of the time it's the mobile phone and mobile photography. So I just love it because somehow it gives me so much like freedom to act and perform and to think at the moment. So I don't have to wait and go to my studio, take the sketchbook out, sit somewhere and do something what I want to. So it is, and with the new advancement in the technologies, so it is becoming much more easier to to carry your studio in your hand. And so I just like, I'm driving, and so it's so easy to just take that image of the rickshaw and what is happening on that rickshaw. So all that documentation, data collection makes me think and refine my ideas, without sitting properly for hours at a table and writing about it. So in that sense, I think images really dictate me, motivate me, inspire me, and I feel that I instantly do that.
And there's also this suggestion of uncertainty in, and especially coming back to your lenticular prints, such as Line of Control, Love Letter to Lahore, the work which is behind you right now. That you see, that's still something that you use in your most recent work in Chand Ke Par. And this uncertainty of this image not being allowed to settle also plays with this idea of the impermanence of memory. And coming back to what you said of using film and an image, the residue of how we remember images also depends on this medium.
Yeah, I mean, lenticular in that sense really provides me the space to express something which is still in my control. Like anyone who is a viewer is looking at the work is also in the same way experiencing it. It is not something that I have done in terms of time based medium with like a film which starts from point A and ends at point B. So it is not that kind of linear experience, temporal experience. Whereas in lenticular, the freedom to stay still in front of the work remains with the viewer. So if you move, so you see certain side and you move the other way, and if you don't move and you want to see the blurriness and experience the blurredness of the image, that the shifting between two layers, and that the ghost the technical term for that is the ghost image, which is like supposed to be the bad image, because that's what every time I get my work printed, so they say, why you want this ghost? This ghost is a defect. And I said, that exactly what I want, that defect in my work, because it's that's a transition, that shift from one to the other. I want it not to be abrupt, but I want some kind of reminiscence. It leaves behind some memory of what it was, and it is transferring to the others, like the work which is behind me right now. You referred to it, and she wondered. So this is again autobiographical kind of work, where I just use a part of my body which is rotating, and it was in complete darkness of a space of my studio. So if you look closely, you can see a tripod, you can see the walls. It is in the same room where I'm sitting right now. And there's a complete darkness, and there is this suspended portion of the body which is like churning, like churning point position. So I, at some point, I felt so claustrophobic and frustrated in my life, that I felt that someone somewhere is just churning me, and my soul and my being is totally being twisted, and it is like I cannot move. So it's like I'm just moving like this. Okay, so I mean, just to, I have painted many figurative forms, and I've constantly referred to my own body. But when I use this medium here, it was the second exhibition where I used this medium, and I felt, oh my God, I am so much at ease with what I was feeling and how I depicted that. And she wondered, and I still don't feel that I got any answers. It was done in 2006, and now it's 2021. And when I see it and I say, okay, this twist gives me exactly, yes, oh yes, this, you're still there, you're still feeling the same, the life hasn't changed, the world around you is the same. You feel same suffocation. What you're doing is you are only shifting from here to there, and that's our existence. Although we feel we are so much free and we have so much expressions, but anyway.
And talking about this shift in your most recent body of work, Sheher Tilzime Hoshruba, which you exhibited at Canvas Gallery in Karachi last year, you shifted into this realm of virtual reality that seems quite timely given these incubated lives that all of us are living today. So, was this a very conscious outcome of the pandemic and the past year? And could you speak about this a little bit and how it opens up nature as an exploration for the viewer in relation to the city itself?
Mm. Uh, well, I have been involved with different images of the city and recording city and life, and interpreting it in through my interest, like how I see the politics and how I see the culture and social aspect of the city. And so that has been part of my master's and my PhD research, as well as my other artworks. But last exhibition before that was about recording an experience of people who just died in as part of of terrorism. So I recorded a life of one person who was murdered. So after in it, and it was in 2017 which I did. After that, I was like thinking and thinking and thinking about how I want to and what I want to express. So there were so many things happening in my life around me, how I was looking at the city. And for some reason, I was shifting more towards nature, because barbed wire is still there in those images, in that city of magic, Shahre Tilism Hoshruba, the city of myth, magic, and reality. So there is barbed wire. If you see in the foggy image, at distance. So the person who is wearing those glasses of VR can move to a certain point, and after that point, you have to mark, the experience of VR is that you have to mark the boundaries, so for safety reasons. So it was very interesting for me to use that aspect and to mark another boundary in the city, that beyond that fog, when you are enjoying the beauty of this fogginess, and there are two suns in that city. So if you see in that direction, so there is one sun, and over there's another, and the wind is blowing at 5 miles per hour speed. So the fog also moves in that, and then there are beautiful, very serene flowers of gulechi, so the temple flower, and they fall, and you experience that, and you really want to capture that in your hand. And then you see downstairs, and there is down at the floor, and the floor is of sand. You are standing in a desert area, it's deserted, and the flowers are there going, and then there are smaller plants of gulechi, they are sprouting. So it's that kind of space where I want the viewer to indulge, and then maybe if they are lucky enough and the fog moves, so they can see that there is a warp fire, so they cannot move across this area. And if they're not lucky enough, and they didn't pay attention, and the fog is there, and they didn't wait it enough to see, so they will see just the magic of the city. So that is very, very tricky, that you can't see that there are two suns. You can, but if you are not intelligent enough to see, actually there are two sources. So there are some kind of tricks which I played. I wanted to be like that writer of that epic Tilism Hoshruba and Dastane Amir Hamza. What I'm trying to work right now is create a virtual experience of the city, so people can see on their palms, through their mobiles, that experience, or go through that. So let's see how it goes. So that's my next research project, which I want to do with my faculty and some students.